Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Person Behind the Pen. So, today we have a special guest from Nigeria. His name is Oluwase, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Agaruntan. Unfortunately, I don't see Ulu just yet, so I do hope that he's not having any type of connection issues and will be joining us soon. Um, should he not be able to join us, very good at pivoting and adapting. So we certainly are going to have a fulfilling show. So my name is Nicole Angai Galindo. I'm known as Nick, and I am the founder of Guiding Brilliant Writers. If you don't know my story, I left my job at the beginning of February to start my publishing company. Um, I had been publishing about a year, and I have these five anthologies you see behind me here, and these 62 co authors that have worked with me. It's been quite a ride. Fell into writing a couple of years ago and rediscovered my passion for it. I have been blessed to have opportunity after opportunity to continue growing. And just 4 months into forming the LLC, we are expanding. So I was able to hire a virtual assistant and a gold standard line editor, and I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled because this growth, um, ensures that the people around me will also have opportunities to grow. With guiding brilliant writers, that's what we are all about. We're not about the books. Sure, we publish books, but books, they start with the people, and the people have stories, and without stories there are no books. So we like to think of this journey as one that is an opportunity, if you've never written before, to contribute a chapter to an anthology. It might be 1,500 words, it might be 2,500 words, whichever the case is. It is an opening for you to test the waters, to see if you're ready to share your story in full, to see if you like writing. It's certainly nothing to be fearful of, and I do understand that many have concerns about whether or not their story is good enough, or will their writing be good enough. But that's why we're here to help. And so, your story, when I say guiding brilliant writers, your story is what's brilliant. It's not the writing. The writing is something that can be taught. And as you go along on your journey, your writing improves. So I do encourage you, if not with myself, to participate in an anthology that you may hear that's coming up. So the next one being launched by Guiding Brilliant Writers would be December of this year, and it is the third annual Legacy. Um, this is a message to my family. I am your legacy. The first one that was published at the end of 2023 was A Note to My Family, I Am Your Legacy. That book did very well. It sold in 7 countries, over 280 copies in both electronic and paperback. And it was not meant to be a series, actually. Several people reached out, not realizing that I was pulling together a first anthology. And as a result, a message to my family was published at the end of last year. So this is now the Legacy Chronicles and will continue on for as long as people want to leave their stories in print for their families. So I still don't see our guests, unfortunately. And once I commit, I commit. So what I'm going to do is, in the meantime, I'm going to share one or two of the promotional videos that the company has done for other writers. If you have a book already published on Amazon, and I get it, self publishing is tough, especially as an indie author. No matter how strong your community is, no matter how much reach you have, there is always still further to go. So, here at Guiding Brilliant Writers, we don't only publish your book, we offer everything from designing your book cover to your proofreading, editing, and formatting, a strategized marketing plan. We do promotion of books that have already been published. We also get you on several live shows, including mine, Nick Nevin Control on Saturday nights, as well as this one, The Person Behind the Pen, to do a live reading from your book. And of course, the fun part, the book launch party. So let me bring up some of these videos, and hopefully by the end of each of them, you would get a feel for the book. And certainly, if you're out there looking, we would love to have feedback. That is certainly always welcome. All right, let's run a couple of these promos. So I do hope you enjoyed that short book trailer. That book is Raising the Well-Adjusted Child, and it is by Dr. Tanya Farran. Dr. Tanya is the co-founder of the 2350 Network, along with Stephen Kinsey, and she was here on the 5th of June doing a reading from her book. So Guiding Brilliant Writers is offering a 1 minute or less book trailer if you are an author who has published, self-published. We want to give you the opportunity to come here and do a live reading from your book, as well as have that trailer to help promote your book. While the series was created twice a week so 8 episodes a month, to bring on the co-authors who've written with me to do a live reading, we believe in the power of storytelling and sharing knowledge through the written word. As such, we want to feature one author every single month who has not published with us. So if you are interested, please reach out to Guiding Brilliant Writers. You will find us on LinkedIn, as well as Facebook. You will find us on Instagram and YouTube. And please subscribe when you are at YouTube. So I'm going to also run a couple more. And this way you could get a feel for the different books that we have put out there. We have certainly put out self-help, motivational, inspirational. More recently, we've done, yes, the psychological thriller genre. And up next, coming for the rest of the year in the next 6 months, we have 8 more publications. They're coming as memoirs. One is by Dr. Steve Hudgens, and he is a psychologist and a coach that works with blended families. We are thrilled to have him aboard with us. And of course, we have 2 more psychological thrillers coming, The Silent Canvas Part 2 and Part 3. So in the meantime, please enjoy this trailer. do hope that you enjoyed that. And I know that there's a bit of delay on LinkedIn right now. I'm not really sure what the issue is. I just checked my YouTube as well, and somehow it seems that it's not streaming there. So the technical gremlins are afoot. I'm still going to continue until we've completed a show. This is Nick. This is Guiding Brilliant Writers, and this is what we do. We roll with it. So, what you just saw was a trailer of A Message to My Family. I Am Here, You're My Legacy. That was the December 2024 volume. Replaced the #1 international bestseller on Amazon in several categories. And we've had several of the writers on to do a live reading. The rest will also be joining throughout the year. And we do encourage you to attend. You know, there's such a difference between picking up a book and reading the story than it is to hear the author read the story themselves. It just takes on a whole different meaning. Things that you perhaps didn't consider before, nuances. And we always allow people to come up on stage as well if they have questions. This is really the opportunity for you to meet the person behind the pen. So, coming up next would be Legacy, as I mentioned, 2025. If you're interested in joining, reach out to Guiding Brilliant Writers. We always go with 21 authors. I don't do more than that. One of the things that I like to do is meet one-on-one with each of them for about an hour and a half, I would say it takes, to do a review of their story. I read their story back to them, and then we go ahead and discuss it further. So right now we have 6 of the 20 slots filled. I'm the 21st. So we have 14 slots, and we're in June. So if you are interested, please reach out. Another thing that we opened up this year with Guiding Brilliant Writers is for the first 90 days of book sales, royalties are shared among the co-authors. I understand the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into this, the scabs that get ripped off, the wounds that, are reopened. And it takes so much vulnerability to be able to share your story to that level. And I think it's something that truly can only be done if your intention is to put it out there, hoping to touch someone and change a life. And that is the reason I started the company. I was diagnosed with bipolar officially, I want to say about 8 years ago, bipolar 2 disorder. So throughout my life, I have definitely struggled with depression. And until then, it was not properly diagnosed, so it was not properly treated. Now that it is, um, my entire life has changed. And I really hope to see the same for others, that they don't become defined by their diagnosis. So, because of that, the next anthology coming from Guiding Brilliant Writers launches July 1st, and that one is called We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnoses. So, we choose to be more than our diagnoses. We have 15 writers plus myself. It covers everything from PTSD, ADHD, CPTSD, chronic illness, um, diabetes 1, cerebral palsy, some as a result of terrible accidents, some being born with it, and of course, myself, bipolar. You don't have to have a diagnosis to pick up this book and read the stories. Everyone is touched by someone who is diagnosed with something. And to me, all diagnoses fall under the umbrella of mental health. Now, I don't mean mental illness. Bipolar 2 is considered a mental illness, such as schizophrenia. But mental health, the way our mind operates, the way that we face the adversities in our life, it doesn't matter whether or not it's a physical, emotional, or mental diagnosis that we're dealing with. Mental health is the umbrella. And this month of June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So there are several male authors in the book. And interestingly enough, I will say that there is some difference in the way men and women view and deal with their diagnoses. And that's one of the things that I love about this book. The stories and the diagnoses of themselves are not just diverse to the illnesses and the fact that some were accidents and some were hereditary or some unfortunately were born with it, but it also brings you the perspective of a man and a woman, a father and a mother, a sister and a brother, because we are like connected. There are so many relationships around us, and our illness, whatever it may be, affects everyone differently. And the way everyone's relationship with us certainly affects us differently. So I encourage you to stay tuned. We do want you to pick that book up on July 1st. Look out for the launch party. So it seems that LinkedIn had a tremendous delay of 20 minutes. YouTube was up, I guess, and running. And incidentally, 127 people marked themselves attending this event. And it looks like the first person that's attending, or at least the first person to comment, is my dear Leslie Flowers. So thank you, Leslie, for coming. I have been up here yapping away for 19 minutes by myself. It's very challenging, but very interesting. Good to know that I can do this. So I am not sure our guest Ulu is. As I mentioned, he's in Nigeria. He's about 6 hours ahead, and he could be having connection problems. There's always that possibility. So I thank you for your patience. We did run 2 of our videos. We wanted to give you a little taste of what it is that we can do for you here at Guiding Brilliant Writers. So I'm going to take the opportunity now to run another. Just as a recap, the first one we ran was for Raising the Well-Adjusted Child, and that was by Dr. Tanya Farran. And the second was the Legacy 2024, A Message to My Family. So let's run another one for you now. And please reach out to Guiding Brilliant Writers if you have any questions or you would like us to work on your marketing strategy with you. I hope that you enjoy that. That would be our promotional video showing you some of what we do. So for some of those clients, we designed their book covers. They're now up on Amazon. For some of them, we did the full service, the proofreading, the editing, the formatting, the publishing, the promoting, and yes, post-launch. So speaking of post-launch, that's one of the things that I noticed self-publishers really kind of fall down on. So you put all this time and effort into creating a book. You drive everything towards launch day. And the day after the launch, everybody forgets about the book. It's all done. So, these stories are worth so much more than that. And it is essential that you continue to promote your book. And people are busy. Life is busy. People have businesses and they're busy. So that is why you would hire a company like mine, for example, to do a relaunch, if you will, and then put us on some type of retainer. That retainer will allow you to continue to have your book promoted indefinitely. And there's always fresh ideas for your promotion. So I do see Leslie here. I want to thank her so much for texting with me in the background. I'm sure she's out there letting people know there was a bit of a delay today. But as such, I will wrap up at about 6:30, considering that, our guest is not here. I had hoped to pivot and adapt and do a reading of my chapter from A Message to my family. So I will see in the next 7 minutes if we do start to fill up, and if we do, we certainly will proceed with that. In the meantime, the author we're going to be joined by, Ulu, wrote in this book above my shoulder here. And this one was a People First Professional Networking Platform, the trilogy. This trilogy was made up of 3 anthologies. Each one had 12 writers. So he was an author in the first book, and it's called um, Why We Came and Why We Stay. So as you can see, this is my author proof copy here. And so Why We Came, Why We Stay was about joining the LinkedIn platform, what you discovered while you were here, and what made you decide to stay. Take, for example, I have nothing against TikTokers, but the other day I went into TikTok because I'm like, okay, I gotta spread my wings. It's just really not a platform for me. And LinkedIn was once considered that platform that people just came looking for a job. Well, if you're on the LinkedIn platform now, you know it has become so very much more. And that was the vision behind this trilogy, a people first professional networking platform. There are 3 parts to this book. The second is we came as professionals who make impact as people. And the third is how we found our purpose and started a business. So I wrote in the third book. I feel like I had already passed through the stage of book 1, why we came, why we stay. Book 2, we came as professionals, we make impact as people. And then I started my business. And I started the business, The Gifted Bipolar Writer, right here on LinkedIn because of LinkedIn. I had no intention of starting a business, no urge to even start a business, happily employed. Um, and I was even when I left. But what I discovered here on this platform, beyond connections, with deep rooted relationships and people that have decided to not let life live them, but rather live their life and pursue their passions. And now, not at any cost, because you have to be smart about how you go about starting a business. After all, uh, only about 20% maybe of startups actually make it beyond the first year or two. So I do not plan to be one of those statistics. I will be, um, not in the 80% that fail. I plan to be in the top 3% that make it. And no, that's not egotistical. It is certainly a sitting confidence. Um, and so I guess as a fairly new business owner, I would like to give some advice to anyone out there who has started a business recently. The imposter syndrome will come from time to time, but that's okay. Quiet that voice and listen to the one that brought you to where you are. Continue to let your intuition guide you. Continue to lean on your strengths and develop not your weaknesses, but the areas that you have room for improvement. So, this has been a crazy episode for 30 minutes. I have talked about pretty much everything, but that's me. I am bipolar, maybe tripolar, probably multipolar, and I have finally embraced who I am. And as a result, I am able to now fulfill my passions by helping people to fulfill theirs. So, with that, I'm going to close. And then we will be back next Tuesday. And on next Tuesday, we have the founder of the Wakabumi program, a nonprofit for youth. Her name is Naki Nate. And Naki also wrote in the same volume here. So please join us next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern for a live reading from Naki on her chapter within this trilogy. And I wish everyone a great evening.